Big up, big up, big up. What's going on, you guys? It is your girl Lexi, girl Astro Lexi, your favorite astrologist, spiritualist, and all the way around. Y'all, it's been a minute. It's been a little second, but girl, life has been lifing. I'm telling you, I'm sure that life has been lifing for all of you guys, especially if you're living in the States. It's just been a crazy time. I've moved, I've grooved, and I've lived. Okay, I was doing my thug thistle. Now it's time to get back to work, get back to the passion, which is this channel. Yes. So today I wanted to get into what is going on between Nicki Minaj and Jay Z. And just before I proceed further, astrology readings and tarot readings are all alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Thank you. Thank you, Rock Nation. But girl, it was just been going so much going on between Nicki Minaj and Jay Z, from the back and forth comments about each other's work ethic, business practices, family situations. Girl, it's messy. And I'm here for it because it really does involve all things entertainment and spirituality, which is all why we're here, girl. We're here to get into the astrology, into the energetic business, okay? So basically, what happened previously was Nicki Minaj had an interview where she stated where she was experiencing some spiritual attacks, and what has just been going on with her currently in her day to day. There's just been a lot of there's just been a lot of mudslinging that has been on my good sis's name. And y'all, Nikki has said a lot of things and she's done a lot of things. Even with her connection to MAGA, it's just not my favorite, girl. It's not my favorite. I had to distance myself from her, but at the end of the day, baby, Nikki raised me. Nikki raised me. So I'm gonna be a little bit biased when it comes to her and JC, because these are two moguls of the entertainment field that are going head to head. And if you're Gen Z like me, we grew up on these people. We wanted to aspire some success of these people. And now that we're seeing that the veil is thinning, the smoke and mirrors are clearing, and we're seeing what really took and what was the stakes to get to the top. And it's just been real messy. It's been real ugly. It's been catty. Girl, Jay-Z took out his locks. He had something to say, and I was just like, oh my god, it's a lot going on. But I wanted to look at their astrological synastry to see what their connection, what their energetic alignment would be, and just get into a little bit of the meat and potatoes between them two, because these people are very similar. They're both Sagittariuses, and we're gonna get into that all in a second. But thank you guys again for being patient. I know it's been so long since I've made like a full length video getting into the astrology of things. It's just life be lifing. God be calling on you to do this and you do another thing and you get off your path. It's just been a lot. But if you want to support me in any way, make sure you like, you view this video, get the AdSense up, get the viewership up. Or if you want to book your personal reading with me, make sure you click the link in the bio below. But let's get into it. Child. Between them saying so many disparaging things about each other's families, about their kids, and Beyonce is nowhere to be found, it's been real messy. It's been really crazy, especially just being someone that has witnessed the come up of Nicki and really wanting to be underneath Jay Z's wing to some capacity, right? I don't think it's the same way or the same relationship that she wanted that Rihanna had with him, but in a way that she wanted to be like the female version of him. She wanted to be the upper echelon. She wanted to be at the top. But at one point she was. But we've seen so many times that she has fell from grace. We have seen just the ramifications of her wanting to speak her truth, wanting to be open and honest and speak from a place of honesty and authenticity. But what's so interesting is, Nikki is in the blue, she's in the smaller circle, and Jay Z is in the larger circle. So what's so interesting is that they're both Sagittariuses, right? If you know anything about Sagittariuses, Yes, they can be a lot. They can be a whole lot. They're here one minute, they're gone the next, but when they're there, you're gonna be entertained, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna feel joyous. Like that is Sag energy. They're gonna be like, but at the end of the day, they have their own spiritual understanding of life. And it's like their quest in this lifetime is to expound their knowledge upon whoever is open to listen. Like if you listen to old Jay-Z's music, he was talking some real shit. You feel me? Like he was talking real shit. Same with Nicki. Nicki was talking about her upbringing, being an immigrant, coming to another country, having to navigate that, being in New York of all of it. They're both New York people. They're both New Yorkers. I said New York people. Nigga people. They're both from New York. So it just gives you a certain level of grit, a certain level of just, you know, boldness. You got to just be moving, shaking to get up anywhere in the world. You have to be bold. You have to be courageous. And these two are both bold and courageous people. What is so interesting is they're only like a couple days apart. I mean, they're different. They're from different generations, of course, but Nikki, as you can see, she's a Sagittarius. Jay Z's a Sagittarius. But what's so interesting that I wanted to point out was that Nicki Minaj, if you see right here, this little moon sign is in the blue, she has her moon in Virgo, right? So our moon sign represents like our emotional processing. And whatever sign is in our moon sign really gives us more insight about how we go about regulating our emotions. What do we use to regulate those emotions? Um, what do we even do when it comes to how we feel our internal world? What does that look like to make us feel at home? What makes us feel at home? What makes us feel at home, but in a negative way, right? So if you look at the moon in Virgo, Virgo is an earth placement, but it's a mutable placement. So if you know anything about Virgo energy, Virgo is like, it's very much like you got to have all your ducks in a row. They want you to be poised. They want you to be precise. They want you to be punctual. Virgos don't play. That's why when you think about Virgo energy, they always, they always have this connotation around them that they're like the perfectionist. They want things done in the right way. They're gonna tell you how they feel. They don't care how you take it. They don't care if it hurts your feelings because they know that they're right. And oftentimes they are right. So for Nikki, that can come out with the expression of her coming from a pretty like strict upbringing, coming from a family that really wanted her to succeed and to excel past them. She had high expectations for herself, and the way that she regulates herself is by being the best, being on top, being somebody that, okay, I'm gonna do this again. I want this to be perfect. That is Nikki's energy, right? Um, but what's so crazy is that it's on his generational planet, Pluto. So why I think that they have a very interesting dynamic, not only just because of the industry that they're in and the line of work that they're in, and just everything is so similar, right? The New York grind, the New York hustle, that you got to get it mentality. Fucking nigga, I don't care. I'll spit on you for that. That means I got to get on top. Like, I understand that energy, but that going head to head with each other is just a recipe for chaos, a recipe for destruction. And the planet of transformation, destruction, death is literally on her planet that represents her emotional security. What she has placed a value upon that gives her emotional regulation, emotional comfort, he is completely wiping that out with that Pluto energy, forcing her to transform in some sense. Maybe it could even be reminiscent of like a father figure, right? A figure, a male figure in her life, male figure in her family that disrupted. She had all her lines in a row. Okay, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get this done. I have everything set in place, and then somebody comes out and just completely wrecks it. So it's almost like you want to kind of seek some sort of validation from this person because they completely have shaken up your home life, your internal set, which is interesting because We've been seeing so many instances and reports about Nikki's home being raided, right? Her family is being investigated. Her own child is being questioned to see if he's up to some mental acuity, right? That energy is present within their connection. It's like there's this pressure cooker that is on her emotions. Like she feels like triggered based off of his energy. And what's so interesting as well, it's not very close to her moon, but since he's on the outer ring in this red, he has a south node in Virgo. Our south node represents a part of us that is very reminiscent of our soul's journey that we need to release so that we can go forward and move towards our goals and our true purpose, our north node, right? It's like if you think about the analogy north node and south node, what people tend to use for that terminology is they think of like a snake, right? The tail of the snake is the south node and the head of the snake is the north node. The head, it directs you. It it keeps you forward. It has everything on the front end. It keeps things going. The tail is there to just like make sure that things get dragged behind. It's there to just clear out anything that you are not seeing in front of you, right? It's the beginning, it's the end. And when we have nodal synastry with anybody, this could even be very reminiscent and very representative of having a past life connection, a past life karmic connection, because the nodes are karmic, right? Because karma is something that is fated, it is something that is embedded in us before we even get to this physical plane. So this could even look like them having some sort of like ancestral familial tie that maybe came from a past life. Like I said, very reminiscent of like a father figure type, an uncle, a just a paternal male figure that really does affect her. I think that his energy affects her more than his, but we'll get more into that later. And I'm sorry if my voice is cracky. I'm like, like when you're someone that speaks for a living and you don't do it for a while, it's kind of like your throat chakra has to like warm up a little bit. So I'm just trying to get my chakras in order, girl. I'm trying to get my solar plexus right, my root right, my throat right, like everything right. So I think that they do have like similarly how Beyonce herself is a Virgo sun and they have that past life synastry. I feel like so does Jay-Z and Nicki. That's why they're going so hard at each other, going so head to head. It's like it's almost like they can't escape one another. No matter how hard she tries, no matter how hard he tries, it's like they're always like finding their selves connected to each other in some way. And it brings Jay-Z down in a way because it's like you're going towards you're going towards a way to be in control of the narrative. So him even going on what was that Roots picnic and he was doing that freestyle like yeah, some of us can't even get our son to like I'm like no girl, that was a low blow. That was a low blow. That was a low blow. But now he's been trying to be on this frequency similar to Diddy that wanted to embody this frequency of love and peace and acceptance. And some might say that that was just for performative reasons because he was about to go to jail. And now we've seen everything with the files and Jay-Z being included that he wanted to be more on like a path of like, man, I want to be open, I want to be honest, I wanted to be this, but it's like she is the thorn in his back that will always be like, girl, remember you did this? Remember that shady business deal you did? Remember that one time? Like it's like he can't escape that. Child. Messy. I told y'all it's messy. It's messy. So another thing that really stuck out to me is that they have opposite Saturns. Okay, Saturn represents karma, represents restrictions, but Saturn also has to deal with lessons. It has to deal with structure. It has to deal with, building of a foundation, right? It's built over time. It's built over learning through trials, through tribulations. Girl, Saturn is gonna be like, what did you learn? And don't do it again. And if you keep doing it, you're gonna fall flat on your ass. fall flat in your ass. That's why I said that these two are very, very similar because their Saturns are both in, you know, they're in signs that represent stability, that represent building a foundation. Taurus, it's all about building like that uh, physical foundation, that generational money, that generational wealth, something that you can that is withstanding of the test of time, that is built over the test of time. With Scorpio, it's like it's doing the same thing but in another way. Whereas I'm not saying that they can't do it, but more so than not, Taurus energy is very, very focused on building, you know, monetary value, having the house, having the car, having the 401k, things that are tangible wealth that is built, right? That's what he really focuses on. But for her, she's really like it's Scorpio. It's unseen, it's hidden. It's her really getting into like the root core of like, why am I doing this? Why did I come into this industry? Why did I come here with this passion, with this tenacity? Now I'm here and it's like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So now her purpose is to build that internal foundation, right? To build those internal structures within her so that it can be reflected on the outside. Because, even with it being conjunct with Pluto, I feel like all of this, the persona, the person that Nikki has been for so long has been crumbling and has been distorted and has been tested and tried and shown to the public, and everyone's like, girl, what the fuck is this bitch on crack again? She forgot her bag, she need that thing, she need her fix, whatever. All of these perceptions about her and her realizing her role within this major entity, and she's really like, girl, like, oh. Oh, but I think a part of her knew the sacrifice and the circumstances of what she was in and what her role was in. But I think ultimately, because they both want to be on top, they both want to be the moguls. She is just a woman, unfortunately, in this patriarchal society, um, that is that got undermined by the head honcho. That is one of the most powerful people in the world, Jay Z. And I think that her ego is super, super hit by that. I do. Because ultimately, right, because the planet that rules over Sag is Venus. I mean, what is Freudian slip, girl? I got a Sag Venus. Hey, the planet that rules over Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter is it's this planet of wisdom, of wealth, of knowledge, of our higher mind, right? And it's encapsulates this journey that you go on to obtain that wealth of knowledge, to obtain these experiences. It's when you go off and you go abroad, and it just opens your mind, opens your perspectives on the world. It shows you that life is much grander than you could even ever imagine because you went on this journey, because you stepped away from something that's familiar, you did something that was foreign. Um and where's her Jupiter? Her Jupiter is in is Scorpio. Her Jupiter is in Scorpio, which is so funny because Jupiter is a representation of a husband in a woman's chart. And from what we've seen, she has been very public with kind of like shady figures, right? Figures who may have even had a past in the underworld, doing underworld type of um, exchanges, if you will, if you know what I mean. So somebody that who isn't afraid of their shadow, someone that isn't afraid to, get down and dirty. But which is so interesting is because his Venus is in Sag, but it's in a pretty close conjunction, an outside conjunction with that Jupiter. So it's like this energy of like, this is somebody who I could see myself with, but they also remind me of like a father figure. This is someone that reminds me of someone I've known that has raised me, to some capacity, someone that has molded me into this thing, and then they just discarded me, right? That could be very triggering, especially if it's like a colleague. It's just energy is energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just transmuted. So with this connection that she has, it's almost like it hit her on like a soul level, right? And it made her confront her even purpose in general, right? She had this passion. Um, Fire sign, they're very passionate. They're very, they have all this energy to expand because they have so much to do. They can do this. They want to do that. They want to understand why the world is the way that it is, right? Jupiter energy. And they gain so much from trusting, from having that blind faith, having that ability to just believe in the unbelievable, believing in the self so much, right? Sun and Sag. Um, and his Jupiter is in Libra. It's in Libra, right on her Pluto, right on her Saturn. So it's like they both can expound to be these huge, colossal beings, but they both restrict each other in some way because of like some past life history that they have with each other. It's like you can't be bigger than me. You can't be bigger than me. You not okay. I'm about to undermine you. You gonna undermine me? Okay, I'm gonna do this. Like it's just like this tit for tat kind of energy, but the energy is there. The resentment is there. The resentment is there because it's so familiar. When you meet somebody or you have a friend that is like, oh, I know someone that acts just like you. Y'all would get along so well, and then you meet the person, you like, I don't act like this bitch. She like, I don't act like this bitch. But it's like the energies are so similar that it's like they clash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Her Mars and Capricorn squares that Jupiter tension as it becomes to like the way that he can expand even in his social circles with other colleagues, with other people, other business partners. It's like she's gonna come in and be like, she gonna stop that bag. Okay. Mars and Capricorn, they're gonna get it by any means possible. Mars is your drive. It's what motivates you, what gives you that momentum that you're looking for. And Capricorn girl, it's the goat, right? You're gonna keep climbing until you get to the top. And that's what Nikki did until she got to the top, and that nigga kicked her the fuck down, unfortunately. And now she's having to rebuild her empire in a way that is more authentic to her core identity, where he was more focused on, what he could acquire monetarily. It doesn't matter. And yeah, I'm sure he did the inner work, right, with 444. He's had these introspective moments, but he's still in this system. He's still a key factor in this entity, which is the music industry, right? Um, and ultimately, with his North Node in Pisces, right, opposite Virgo, it's like she is showing the ways in which he could be domineering and controlling and possessive, right? Virgo energy can be very like, I want this. I'm gonna control this. Like I. Opposite that North Node in Pisces is kind of just like surrendering, the ultimate surrender, the ultimate stage of letting go, releasing control, relinquishing control. And it's so interesting because who has the same energy, same North Node, P Diddy. So I ain't saying nothing, but hey, I'm just the girl. I'm just a baddie. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this and what has been going on with Jay Z and Nicki because it's just been getting more and more interesting and more messy. Hip hop is back. New York is back. The Knicks is up. Big up. What do you say? I'm just like, this is like the first summer in a while that I haven't been in New York, and I'm just getting such crazy FOMO because I feel like Jay-Z's gonna drop a project, and he's gonna go more into it, more in depth, and it's just gonna be like old head summer, unk summer in New York is up. So Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how their dynamic plays out moving forward. I feel like she's been looking good. She has her alliances with MAGA, unfortunately, but she is just playing chess. She's looking to gain as many supporters as she can when she goes head to head with the big bad wolf. Okay. But yeah, this is what I see. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments. If you want me to expound on anything, if you want me to go over any details, if this made sense, tell me if just tell me your opinions. If even if you were like, girl, what the fuck? Or if you'd be like, girl, you look good, girl, I know. Let me know in the comments below and add me any suggestions. What should we talk about moving forward? What are your thoughts, opinions, comments? Just let me know all of your things and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you guys. Have a great one.